Again. All right, so where were we? We were talking through the Bundesliga, so we're almost done. Thanks for sticking with it. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I don't control the internet clearly. Well, we're doing it. So we were on the top spiel in Germany. I'll go over that one. I'll start that one again, and then apologies again for the repeats and technical difficulties, but that's life. Bayern München currently a 1.25 goal favorite right now to Leipzig. Over under is 3.5, juiced slightly to the under. So what I was going to say, or what I had said before this whole thing kicked off, was that Bayern, if they lose here, it'd be a huge change in the title race. Leipzig certainly are trying to maintain their position and their status in the Champions League. They got a 4-point lead on Freiburg, who are trying to catch them, and they'll know the Friday result before it all happens. If Freiburg lose, then Leipzig are clinched into a Champions League position. They can't really catch Dortmund, so I do feel like that might change their strategy a little bit for this one. You'd think that they really want to go to Bayern and get a win. They're there already probably anyway, but we'll see. And that certainly changes what lineups might look like, all that sort of stuff, though probably not, because the preparation that most likely has already been done. But there's some pressure on Bayern. They're not the same dominant side they've been in the past. They had that loss to Mainz recently. I think winning by more than a goal. Unfortunately, I try not to fall in these traps because Bayern are so good at home. But when they're required to win by more than a goal, that does give some value to a Leipzig side who are really good at controlling the center of the pitch. They're great on counterattacks. Bayern leaves themselves open to it. So I lean to Leipzig getting that 1.25. Don't know if they'll make my card, but no interest there in the total of 3.5 because both these teams can score. Moving to Sunday, Mainz hosts Stuttgart, calling Mainz a pick'em with almost all the juice right now. Over unders 2 3/4, juice the under. Mainz are 4 points behind the sixth position. So they still probably see themselves with a chance at Europe, but Stuttgart have getting a ton of really nice lines, favorable lines. They've supported some of them with their play, but not really entirely. I don't think they're, to me, not a very good side ultimately, and they're sitting second to last in the table, an automatic relegation position right now, 1 point behind Schalke in the playoff position. So this is a big deal for them. They got to get a result here just to even equal Schalke. They have better goal differential, but Schalke are at home. So probably pushing for a win. Really haven't had much defense this whole time. I'm looking for Mainz if they move to an underdog. It doesn't look like that's going to happen based on the number. And I don't really want to play an under 2 3/4 with Stuttgart, I got to say. So not a lot for me there. Under, if anything, but that's probably a pass. Augsburg, the 1.25 goal underdog to Borussia Dortmund. All the juice on Dortmund on the road right now, likely climbing to 1.5, though they'll see the Bayern München result. Hasn't really impacted their play negatively just yet, but I do think, as we only have 2 matches to play, if Bayern have a tough result or a loss even to Leipzig, that something might happen here. This line will likely climb on Borussia Dortmund before it kicks off, based on the juice especially, and Augsburg struggles. Augsburg sitting 13th right now on 34 points. They're still not safe. They're only 4 points ahead of that relegation position, playoff position, excuse me. So that's not done yet. Over under 3.25 in this one, juice to the over. Dortmund have been killing everybody, and I don't really think Augsburg have been a great home team. So that's probably my biggest interest. But at 1.25, I don't know. I really want that. I think if anything, I'll put 3.25 on my list, under 3.25, as a way to sort of back Augsburg's defense. But it's honestly a scary thing. I don't really know if I want to get in the way of Borussia Dortmund right now. Last but not least, Bayer Leverkusen hosts Borussia Mönchengladbach. Currently, Leverkusen a 1.25 goal favorite at home. Over under 3.25, juice slightly to the over. Leverkusen, big favorites. Borussia Mönchengladbach look like they quit. Were awful last week at Dortmund, but I imagine if there's anyone that has any sort of spine in that team, they're going to show up and play a little bit better this week. Hard to trust that, of course, but Leverkusen are really banged up. They are playing for something in the Bundesliga, but got eliminated after playing their guts out, really, and just not able to create anything against this deep sitting and time wasting to Jose Mourinho Roma side. I don't think I can play unders with the Gladbach defense on the road, and especially their performances on the road, but especially with Leverkusen because they don't really defend. They really use their offense to defend and just want to have the ball and up the pitch the whole time. Lean to Gladbach getting a 1.25 goals, but even then, that's a tough one for me. Interested in too much. I think for my best bet, it seems like an under podcast so far. That shouldn't surprise you. Until Union Berlin, they probably would be my best bet if they move to a 1/4 goal underdog, but I don't see that yet. So I'm going to go with a Schalke under 2 3/4. I think it gets to 3, and I really think that's a buy price then. Just try to make sure you don't lose it before it kicks off. But I'll take Schalke 04 under 2.75, because that's current line as my best bet in Germany. So still stay with me. Thanks for coming and hanging through a little technical difficulties, but we do have a promo code for pregame and the ultimate best bet portion that's coming shortly. So I'll go through France and then get into all that sort of stuff. Lyon hosts Monaco on a Friday matchup. Lyon with a favorite right now, with all the juice right now. Pick them, likely climbing to a quarter goal favorite. Lyon trying to catch up in that relegation position. They are 4 points behind, that European position. They're 4 points behind Lille right now. Monaco with a good result that kind of, they hadn't been playing well. I'm really disappointed I didn't play them last weekend against Lille. But anyway, goalless draw. It wasn't pretty, but got them a point they needed to fend off Lille, who were trying to charge up behind them. Lyon, the favorite though here, they've been playing pretty well. They had a really, really crazy match with Montpellier a couple weekends ago, but then took a loss last week. Not great. And this is their chance to really kind of climb up the table, but with only 3 matches to go, there's not a lot of time for them to do it. Over under is 3.25 right now, juice to the under. I expect there to be goals in this one, though Monaco didn't certainly show that last weekend. Not a lot for me to do here yet. A pick 'em. I'm interested if Monaco do climb to a quarter, but it doesn't look like it's happened yet. And the match starts in an hour. Moving to Saturday, Nantes hosts Montpellier. Currently Nantes a quarter goal favorite with all the juice, almost. Over under is 2.5. A little more juice to the under. Montpellier, really good offense, not much defense, but they're sitting safe. Nantes are in the last relegation position since there are 4 teams that are going down. They're 1 point behind Auxerre and really look dead. Only 2 draws in the last 5 matches. Auxerre are certainly not pretty themselves, but they're in a better position and they are 1 point ahead at this point. Not at home, though, the favorite. I don't believe in them, really. It really depends what Montpellier are going to give for this one. I feel like they're the better side. They're better in the table, all that sort of stuff. I don't know that I really want to play an under with Montpellier, but that's certainly the way I lean in this one. And not really have been playing so poorly that they're going to use a big crowd and try to get up for this one. It's just going to be hard because if Montpellier are playing all their best players, you'd assume they're not on the beach, but who knows what's going on in those minds. So it's probably better for me to avoid this one. I'll put that out loud. So hopefully I listen to myself on Saturday morning. Lille then host Marseille. Currently Lille a quarter goal favorite right now. All the juice on Marseille on the road. Over is 2.75 juice the over. This is a big battle for 2 teams that are fighting for Europe. Lille are trying to hold off Rennes, who are 1 point behind, and play a little bit easier schedule down the stretch. Marseille sitting 3rd, are 2 points behind the automatic Champions League position in Lens, and it's a big deal for them because we've seen Monaco lose in the playoff rounds the last 2 seasons, and that really affects everything throughout the season. Money playing on Thursdays is not good for your league position. Just ask Monaco why they're sitting in 4th right now. But Lille, they've been, to me, a very, very fortunate side to be in this European position. I will admit I am hoping they don't make it because Rennes, I have a ticket on to finish in a European place, but Lille have had a great year, but I feel like a lot of their results have been kind of fortunate end of match wins. Marseille are a better side. They're going to go in, and I feel like they have a better manager. Paulo Fonseca is a very offensive one for Lille, but Igor Tudor essentially was pulling the strings at Juventus behind Pirlo and supposedly a couple seasons ago. And looks like he might not stick around, but I feel like Marseille are better, and they're the underdog, so I like them. They're going to have to fight a big crowd who's got a lot to play for, but that's the side in the way that I lean at the moment. Moving to Sunday, Ajaccio hosts Rennes. Currently Ajaccio 1 goal underdog at home. Over under is 2.25 juice to the over. Rennes have been awful on the road, but they face one of the worst teams in the league. Ajaccio are relegated. I think that's confirmed. Yeah, they can't get out, so they're done. And that's unfortunately going to be going to put some pressure on Rennes facing a free team, but I think this is a situation where Rennes, they're very young and they've struggled ever since the Martin Terrier injury in like January. But if they can't do this, they can't win this match, and they probably don't deserve to go to Europe. So it'd be a nice way for me to just pass them along. I guess I have to lean to Ajaccio. I don't know what effort they're going to give, though. Unfortunately, it's a very low total, and they got to go to Corsica on the island to play. A lot of excuses for Rennes not to do it here, and a 1-goal victory is required. So if they win 1-0 or something like that, you do push on Ajaccio. So I guess I'm interested in Ajaccio at this point. Nice then hosts Toulouse. Currently Nice a 0.5-goal favorite at home. Over under is 2.75, juice slightly to the under. And currently Toulouse, they've been the better side, I think, lately. Nice with 3 losses in their last 5. Better than Toulouse in the table, but Toulouse also won the Coupe de France, so maybe that's clouding my judgment a little bit. I do think Toulouse are going to go in there and going to play an aggressive brand of football, and I like that. Especially against the Nice side that haven't looked very good. It looked like Didier Degas was like the second coming of Jesus Christ, and then has really struggled ever since the calendar changed. Hasn't really been putting up as many results, crashed out of the conference league. So Toulouse is the side I want here. Brest, a half a goal favorite to Clermont Foot. They are also in the relegation battle, but they're 5 points ahead of Nantes with 3 matches to go, nearly safe. Clermont up that table. They're in 8th right now. I don't really know how, but they've done it. They're half a goal underdog on the road with all the juice right now. So I do like Clermont because they've been really competitive this whole season. They've been better than Brest, and Brest is the favorite. It's just not something you see very often. Over-under is 2.5 as well. I like under there too. So I really like Clermont, and I like that under 2.5, both of them. Reims then hosts Angers. Currently, Reims a 1.25 goal favorite to already relegated bottom side Angers. Over under is 3, juiced heavily to the under. That's a gigantic total, but who knows what Angers are playing for at this point. Reims has been better. Troyes then hosts Strasbourg. Currently, Troyes 1 goal underdog. They are relegated. Also, Strasbourg have essentially moved to safety. They're 5 points up. Similar situation to Brest with only 3 matches to go. Not done yet, so they should be pretty aggressive here. Over under is 2.75. So I don't really want to have anything to do with that one. Lorient then hosts Lens. Big battle for Lens on the road, trying to claim and hold on to their Champions League automatic berth. 1 goal favorite right now. Lorient, all the juice, and that's the way I lean. They've been so good, and I feel like the market has hated them all season, and it makes no sense to me. Got a draw last weekend and won their 2 previous matches. I lean that way. Under is going to be tough at 2.75. I do kind of like that a little bit, but Lens are pretty aggressive offense. I do feel like a 2-1 is possible here. You get your money back on Lorient, and you'd lose half your bet if you played under. So I think I'm more interested in Lorient on that one. Angers then hosts PSG in the nightcap. Big battle, and kind of interesting because PSG are 6 points ahead of Lens, could probably clinch their title. If Lens lose, it's probably almost guaranteed anyway, but you never know. And Angers, they're fighting like heck with 1 point ahead of Nantes in the relegation battle. So I'm really excited for this matchup. Angers have really done it on defense. They've been so good defensively in finding the one lone goal or like a penalty kick to win 3 points. It's gotten them to 34 points. A team that most thought as a newly promoted they would get relegated. They're doing their best, especially with 4 teams going down. They've done great, and I think they've played and deserved more than Nantes so far. At home, I think they're going to fight like heck. They're 1.5 goal underdog. They're going to try their best to hang with PSG as long as possible. I probably like under 3 a little bit more because they're pretty correlated. PSG though might have pretty much clinched the league if things don't go well for Lens before that. So that would be huge. And so we'll see what happens. There's a lot that could happen in this one that might affect things there. I'm very interested in Angers though, putting through a big battle and make this really hard at PSG. So I like that plus 1.5 and also the under 3. For my best bet for France, I'm going to go in Ligue 1. I'm going to go with the under 2.5 in Clermont Foot and in, who are they playing? They're playing Brest. Sorry, we're just organizing a lot of things, especially when you cut off in the middle of a video, then all of a sudden it kind of comes back. Who knows what's going on with this whole thing. Hopefully it's all working. I really have no idea. We'll pick up the pieces afterwards, most likely. But I promised to go through no real update on Patreon, but still working on getting a Discord server going so that all of us can chat there. Haven't figured that out yet. Might be a little bit beyond my pay grade, unfortunately. But things are going well at Patreon. Please, I suggest checking out, especially if you're a pre-game subscriber. I'm about to give you a promo code, so stick around for that. But if you're looking for all my picks in the same place, my leans each night that come out, all the whole list, and then I refine and tell you what I'm playing all day, essentially. I check out Patreon. It's a very affordable price because I know sometimes pregame $20 a day is pretty tough or more than that. Check out Patreon, patreon.com, _G Warner. You'll be glad you did. For the promo code for this episode, make sure you use the we're failing somewhere else. Use the promo code GOAL25, get $25 off for any best bet package at pregame.com for listeners of the soccer podcast only. Most daily packages are priced at $25 or less, so you can get a free best bet with this coupon, good for 7 days from the podcast release. So you got until May 26th, but soccer's running out. If you're listening to the show, we only got a couple weekends left. So make sure you jump in there, use the promo code GOAL25, get $25 off any best bet package on the site, especially mine, but you can look for others as well. And I think it's now time for the ultimate best bet. So we might as well get into it. I'm the real _G Warner. This is episode number 197 of Betting the Pitch. And this is the ultimate best bet portion. For England, I'm going to go under 2.25 for the Everton matchup. Osasuna under 2.5 in Spain. In Italy, the under 2.25 in Fiorentina. In Germany, the Schalke 04 under 2 3/4. And as we do this as a big under podcast this week, I like the under 2.5 in France in Ligue 1 and the Clermont foot match. But for ultimate best bet for this episode, I'm going to go with Schalke under 2 3/4. You might see a 3 before this kicks off. Just not a huge believer in the recency of Eintracht Frankfurt, and ultimately, I feel like Schalke, I mean, they're going to have a huge home crowd behind them. They need to get a point or 3 points, ideally, to try to stay in the league and restore one of the Bundesliga giants to potentially build their club up and not have to suffer another relegation to the Schalke to the Schweizerliga. So play Schalke under 2 3/4. You might get 3 by the time this kicks off Saturday morning. Is my ultimate best bet for this episode. And that'll do it. Thanks for sticking through the technological difficulties. Clearly wouldn't have been my choice. Tried not to have those happen, but luckily Airbnb Wi-Fi's are the most fun things in the world. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. If you are, I don't know, if you want to chat, get on in, patreon.com, _G Warner, or slide in the DMs on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you see this. Thanks for the support, and tell your friends. It'd be great. Would love to get more and more of you interacting, try to win some more money as we get through the end of this season. Thanks for coming, and I will talk to you all soon.